And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, the STC number 56. I'm, of course, your Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat and by some music in the background. I do apologize that there's not much that I can really do about it. So it's fine. It's gonna be fine. So again, if you do hear some music in the background, I do apologize. And hopefully the VOD isn't muted. I'm a little bit concerned about the YouTube VOD and whether or not we get DMCA'd. I'm concerned mainly about that more than anything, but it'll be fine. It'll be copium. It'll be perfectly fine. As we're settling in and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Terran player from the land of Kazakhstan representing Hokago T team. It is Replicant. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Italian Protoss, the blue Protoss player representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. Here we go. So again, I do apologize for any background noise. I was typing in the chat earlier. There's of course our neighbors are having some fun elsewhere, and because of that, there's really not much I can do. You know, there's like layers of bricks and like just, you know, space and a fence and all that stuff between us, but yeah, the music is quite loud, and I mean it's okay for me. I'm wearing headphones, but I do know the mic is a little bit more sensitive to that, so yeah, just as a heads up. But regardless, we're diving in, we're settling into our game. Meanwhile, a big shout out in the chat. Oh my god, Papi, thank you so much to Laser Charles. God, thank you so much for subscribing for the first time with Twitch Prime. Thank you. We do appreciate it. Do appreciate the support here. Again, anything that we do make on the channel goes back into the channel as well. Fun fact, it's thanks to the money that we earn here on the channel that we're able to host and fund the Cranky Ducklings. Oh, sorry, the Cranky Ducklings. Sparkling Tuna Cup. Sorry, a little bit distracted. The Sparkling Tuna Cup, this tournament is funded by our Patreon and, of course, supplemented with our own money as well if we ever don't make our goals on Patreon. And yeah, it's all there if you wish to support even further. Otherwise, thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, and I hope you enjoy the StarCraft as we're settling in to our first matchup into our TVP. For now, we're settling in. It's going to be a Gate Cyber Expanse and the opener here out of Azura. Meanwhile, Replicant across the map going for a double gas opener into a faster factory. So something a little bit more tech heavy, something a little bit more aggressive from our Terran player, and we'll see where this leads us. So with this opener for the Terran, this can go into a Widowmine drop, can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion, or it can go into what we're seeing here. We're going into a Cyclone. Interesting. So it's going to be Reactor into our initial Cyclone production. Meanwhile, across the map, it's going to be a Twilight Council opener. Can't even hear the music. Let's go. Hopefully it stays that way. I did up the threshold of the mic just to be sure, just to be certain. But now we're settling in. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener. Should be towards Blink. Meanwhile, just caught up in the chat. Cristiano not making it here. Nightmare have a budding rivalry. They do. I would have loved to have seen Cristiano and Nightmare potentially have a rematch. Potentially they'll have a rematch, but alas, there's no Cristiano, not this week at least. But it's okay, we have plenty of other players. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back at yourselves. Let's get a feel for the kind of caliber of play that we're going to be seeing here tonight. Until then, we're settling in. Again, it's going to be Blink as our tech of choice. We have our initial 2-gate opener, so it's going to be 2-gate Blink into what looks to be a third base for Azura. Meanwhile, Replicant does arrive here on the front lines with our initial Cyclone. It was a double Cyclone opener into a medevac into some drop plays. So a bit of a more, I mean, we mentioned before there was going to be an aggressive opener. We're going for a Cyclone, what looks to be a Cyclone drop into a Marine push as well. We have quite a bit to work with here. We could just move out with the Cyclones and leave the Marines back at home. We'll see what is loaded into the medevac. Yeah, the Marines. Let's go. We're moving out with the Marines. Cyclones already across the map as well. The goal here is to go for the pylon, is to go for some of this production. Again, this is our hostess pylon, keeping the tech up and running, keep the upgrade on the way. We'll see if we can dive on it. I hope you get DMCA'd. Este Eva. Eva, go eat some tomatoes, man. Go eat them. So now we do poke away at the front door. Shubari is going to be focused on. Stalkers have arrived, and we're going to be able to focus on at least some of the Marines. We step on forward, or we push on forward, I should say. We focus on one Stalker so far. Can we get another? We can! 3 Stalkers for 1 medevac, but we keep on pushing. The Cyclones are still up and running. They are untouched. Yeah, so far so good for Replicant. 2 Stalkers left, but we are juggling quite well. We keep them alive. Alas, probes are falling left and right. We don't have WCS game hearts, but alas, we can count. Damage is being done as we get another and another Stalker. Oh my god, down to 1 Stalker remaining. These Cyclones have done so much. They've done too much. Every Stalker does go down. We do have a Desperation Warp in. We will clean this up. But by the time we do, we lost so much in the process. Looking at the Unisol stat here, that was 7 Stalkers and 7 probes. That's an insane amount of damage. Bearing in mind, that was for 2 Cyclones and a handful of Marines. That was crazy. Very efficient trade here by Replicant. Back at home, he's just building up on 2 bases, getting into his tank production, into our 3-1-1 setup. Things are looking strong here. Things looking good for Replicant and Azura. The pressure is on. The pressure is on to counterattack, but we don't really have an army. We have 4 Stalkers. I mean, that is enough to harass. Like, we can dip into the main and go for SCV kills. I mean, we have to. At this point, we have to go for what little we can, whatever we can. We have to go for some economic damage. Aye, aye, aye. And here we go. We dive into the main base. And wait, we're getting some SCVs. We get 2 so far. We get 3. 3 SCVs, 4 SCVs go down. Drop will escape. There's no punish. Stim still on the way. Behind this, we're trying to settle into our Bay production. We have our Bay, we have Immortal production to Colossus. Azura is attempting to stabilize, but I would still give the edge to Replicant. Killing some SCVs was good, but we need more damage. We're going for the tank! Oh my god. Calm down, Azura, calm down. Going for the tank doesn't quite commit. Azura will back up. Likewise, Stalkers hitting the front lines. Just barely out of range of the tank. We can threaten the depot. Go down the auto turret. We have the repair. We keep the depot alive. Replicant is repositioning. Ooh. Got a big tank volley off. So far, so good. Replicant minimizing his losses, going for a 3rd CC, not going for a 2-base all-in follow-up, just building himself up overall. Getting into a triple tank count here. Going to establish his 3rd base. Meanwhile, Azura still recovering, working towards the splash damage. Dropping back into the natural. Not bad. Drops back in. Threatens the mineral line. Forces out a stim. Stim is done. Bear that in mind. Stim has completed, and Replicant is being quite cavalier here. We're moving out heavily all the way across the map. Calm down. Well, we're reinforcing. We are reinforcing. We're sending everything we have. We have 2 tanks here on the front lines, hoping to catch any stray units at the same time. Ooh, looks like we had some auto tower harass in the main. Not finding too much damage. As Raven does rotate back around. Tank volley's going off, and Replicant is pushing forward. Azura is in trouble. And we're still trying to recover from the earlier damage, from the early game damage even. Tanks rotating around. Looking to threaten the natural. A charge not quite done. Disruptors on the way. Let's go. And the tank within range of the Forge. Forge under fire. Raven still keeping us sort of busy in the main. Forge will go down. And can we drag the arm within range of the tanks? We can! Well, big tank volleys going off on the Colossus. We have a shield battery. We have an overcharge. We hold on to it, and we're going to be able to hold the line. But, ooh, that's a lot of damage. 2 Stalkers go down. These tanks doing so well for themselves here in the back line. Getting so much value at the same time we do get across the map. Again, so important for Azura to get some damage done. But these are slow lots. Ugh. Yeah, they don't get much done here. There's not much that they can do. And Replicant, he just keeps on dropping. Hits the natural once again. Azura trying to keep up. We have the disruptor. We have a Nova. Nova goes off. It doesn't connect. No major connection. We're going for the Nexus itself. And we may be able to focus it down. Yeah, we can. Overcharge, not good enough. Nexus falls. We will be able to break this location. We shut down the tanks finally, but it costs us a base. We're down to 2 base economy. We have a 4th on the way, which will help. But Replicant is very much so in the driver's seat, and you can see that reflected in the supplies. The soup is not lying. Not this time. It's not lying this time, Papi, as we are just building up. We have a, what, 50 supply lead. Disruptors are good, and a Nova, a juicy connection could help us recover, but we need more than one connection. It's a problem. We need more than one Nova. As Replicant is rotating around, we still have the double drop, sorry, we have the Doom drop towards the left, we have the main army towards the right. Pushing in. Azura will catch reinforcements. The drop will commit. A little bit adventurous here. Replicant does manage to break through into the natural. Likewise, that's a kill on the 4th Nexus. And there's just not enough Protoss here. We can just kite back against the Zealots. There's only 3 Stalkers. Yeah, we kite well. And GG gets called. We pull Azura apart, and Replicants will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. A solid game 1 there out of Replicants. And Azura just having a really rough start to the game. Just asking for game heart. Just quickly asking the players for game heart. But GG, well played. Really impressive stuff there out of Replicant. I mean, it honestly came down to the first push. The initial double cyclone push or pressure got so much done. 7 probes and 7 stalkers. It just gave Replicant so much control and so much momentum early on, and Azura just could not recover from that, or attempted to, but wasn't able to in the end. We got like 4 SCV kills across the map with some stalker harass with the war prison, which was okay, but we needed more. Did need more done, and in the end, GG, well played. Replicant takes the lead in the series, and we're getting ready for game number 2. If you're maybe unfamiliar with some of these players, Replicant has also been a bit of an up-and-comer here. I mean, I say that Azura's been around for a while. Azura's been around for a long time. I'm kind of in the middle of the pack. Replicant, I feel like, has been a little bit more on the rise as of late. I've seen them improving and getting better and better results. I'm really excited to see some more Replicant here in our tournaments, and we'll see how far they can go. We'll see how they can compare. I'm ready. I'm excited. We go. I do think that both these players are quite comparable in skill. Azura and Replicant, I mean. Do think they're quite comparable, but we'll see. We shall see. We go. As we have our lobby and we're getting into that second game. I'm hoping for a back and forth, but it's not on me. It's up to our players. It's up to our players. I hope everyone's been enjoying themselves. I saw a bit of a chat about EWC, and yeah, EWC has been going for some time. Oh, we went over the qualifiers, and I think the closed qualifier started yesterday. I'll be honest, I was asleep. I was asleep during the closed qualifier. I'll try and stay up for it here tonight, but no promises. My sleep schedule is more or less back to normal, which means I should be going to bed like in 5 hours. But it's fine. We're settling into game 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Side Delta. We have our Italian Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. Oh, the exports. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Terran player from the land of Kazakhstan representing Hokago T-Team. It is Replicant. With the anime panties. I'm shaking my head. That's been the logo of Hokago T-Team since, I think, its inception, way back in the day, for many, many years. They are a clan of weeaboos even. Similar to Weibo Gaming. Kappa. Shaking my head. every single time. But we're settling in. And we'll see if Azura can bounce back. I mean, I'm sure he can, but I'm curious how he's going to adjust and how he's going to respond. When it came to the previous game, we had a decent set of winding it back. Remember, Azura had, I want to say, 4 Stalkers, had a shield battery, had an overcharge. Alas, the shield battery was focused on immediately. More importantly, Azura wasn't able to really slow down the initial push until it was already in his face. Wasn't able to engage ahead of time, and that did allow Replicant to have that much more momentum early on. We'll see if that continues to be the case. Until then, it is just going to be a Rax expand. This time, an economic opener out of Replicant, which makes sense. But there's a curious, we're loading into Side Delta, a map that is a lot larger and a lot safer. It's known for its more economic openers, a little bit less so for its aggressive plays. And yeah, as a result, here we go. We're going for something more economic. Azura will be able to calm down and settle into the mid game a lot easier, I should say. Like, we're not rushing into Cyclone production again or rushing into Medevac. We're calming things down. So Azura should have a bit of an easier time early on, and we'll see if we embrace Blink Stalkers again. The answer is no, we're going for a Stargate. Okay, Stargate opener out of Azura is spotted by the Reaper. Replicant is aware, and this should be for Phoenixes, or we could try to go Oracle. We'll keep an eye on Azura. Should be the beginnings of Phoenix into Colossus. We spoke earlier about how this map is known for its more economic and longer games just because of the rush distance by ground. And oh my god, we knock ourselves in! Replicant, Bappy. We do knock ourselves back in and we get behind the mineral line going for the probes. Workers will survive. We get one probe kill in the main. We rotate over towards the low ground and we don't get eyes on the tech. That is a Twilight Council, by the way. A hidden Twilight Council at that. So it looks like this should be for... Actually, we're still making Phoenixes. I was going to say that because the fast Twilight Council, this could be Blink and we could go into Oracle first, but no. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. We cancel the Phoenix and we're going into Charge. Interesting. We're rushing into Charge very quickly here from the side of Azura. And as a reminder, this tech structure was not scouted. This was not seen by Replicant. This is going to be a massive surprise. And I imagine we're going to be going for a very crisp, very powerful charge timing here. Gateways are on the way, and Replicant is going to be in some trouble if we don't get eyes on this. Now, we can see that Replicant is going for a 3-1-1 setup, but it was a starport initially. So, 1-1-1 to the rest of our Raxes. So, everything's still looking quite normal. Interesting. Going for the Viking first makes sense just because we scouted the Stargate, so it looks like Phoenixes. Hallucination does bait out the mine shot. Real Phoenix staying back at home. We are looking to take a third base, but we should be staying on a low gas count. As the gateways are finishing up, it's going to be 4 gates in total so far. But it looks like we're not quite going to be committing here. It looks like we will expand and go for a longer game. Okay. Okay. Likewise, Azura moving out with his Adepts is going to be threatening that natural. It is cancelled. Behind us, we do have a Robo follow-up. Should be towards Colossus, but I'm curious. I think what's most interesting to me, as the initial Adept, barely does escape. Oh, and it's going to be hunted down, potentially. But what's interesting to me is that, sure, we have Charge, and we are warping in Zealots, but we're also taking a third base. Like, we didn't go for, like, a big, like, 6-gateway explosion into a 2-base all-in. Charge is done, but we're not really making use of it. We're just banking up our Zealots for now, and... likewise, because of that, it's been a little bit of a waste. Like, as in, we could have gone for a faster Forge into +1, maybe faster third base. We do have to make use of these Zealots, and we'll see if we can. Zealots are moving out. Back at home, Replicant is being active, bearing in mind that the Terran player still doesn't really know what he's walking into. Still has not spotted all these Zealots. And can we catch out the army? We can! Up! Yeah, we collapse onto the Marines on the Marauders. A very nice positioning out of Replicant. He does wedge himself here and reduce so much service area. Oh my god, this position is brutal! The Zealots, they do nothing! Yeah, the natural choke point here is insane, and the Zealots, they do nothing against the army. And now I'm concerned. Now we're reaching a moment where we have 0-0 upgrades here for Azura. Forge just now on the way. These Zealots, they did need to do some damage, and this is just not good enough. What did we get? We got 1 Marine. 1 Marine and 2 Marauders for 4 Phoenixes. We reset the Phoenix count. The Zealots, once again, they just cannot engage. Mine shot goes off, taking down a Phoenix. Another. And sure, we're working towards Colossus and working towards eventually upgrades, but Replicant, he's going to hit his stride first. Is going to hit his stride. You got a DJ in your way to watching. No. No, back it up. My sleep schedule's finally on point. Finally recovered after Home Story Cup, is what I should say. And EWC. As Replicant is moving out, so we're pulling the ball. Oh my god, I mean, this is smart, to be honest. Replicant knows he's ahead, he knows that he has the advantage, so may as well pull the boys and just end it here and now. Azura back at home, what do we have? We have one Colossus. The second Colossus is halfway done. Shield Battery is about to finish up, but here comes the main army. At the same time, Zella counterattack Luna catch reinforcements. What do we have? We have one Colossus, we have a handful of force fields, but not enough to force field the ramp, I don't think. And here come the SCVs! And we get the one force field overcharge is popped. Does help. But the mine shots are insane. We'll clean up the zones. We collapse on top of the army and there's nothing left. There's one Colossus. The boys are being pulled into a meat grinder. And we drop on top of the Colossus as well, zoning it back. Nice moves here by Replicants. We knock down the third base at the same time. We're losing the reinforcements are getting caught out. That's fine. That's a kill on the third. And we need to get the Colossus. It does recall. Colossus does recall over. We are up to 2 Colossus. We have to keep going. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Replicant. But he stims in, and yeah, we collapse on the Colossus. The first one goes down, the second one as well. And the Terran player has done it. Replicant GG gets called. Replicants will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, I don't know if you can hear the music in the background, but regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to Replicant, as it does take the series in a very, very convincing fashion. Again, Replicant able to get an early advantage in game 1, which snowballed into, of course, into his aggression, into a win. In game number 2 is kind of the opposite. In game number 2, it was Replicant being the defender. It was Azura being hyper aggressive early on with that charge timing, and we did take note that nothing was done with that charge timing. Unfortunately, we were active with it, but we did not get enough damage, and as a result, Replicant snowballed out of control, was so crisp to the counterattack. Again, was a very wise move to pull the boys at that moment, just because there was a window where Azura was vulnerable. Just pull the boys, send it. The killer instinct was real, and Replicant does take the series, advances on to the quarterfinals. GG, well played. And this is a good moment for us to take a moment to have a look at the bracket and figure out where we are, figure out where we want to go.